Through this video, we will try to understand the whole process of the research in the its whole steps that can be understood in a very appropriate way. So, remembering the whole structure of the research process can lead us in a very meaningful analyzing the whole things which are covered under the research so that we can before entering into the research come to an conclusion that the how the whole picture can be seen after the entering into the research. So let's start with the steps which are included in the whole process of the research. So first of all, first step is the formulating the research problem. So formulating the research problem is the thing in which we understand a problem theoretically, which means just we have a problem in our mind that could be through the observations or our different experiences. So the first of all first step is the formulating the research problem. So there are the two types of research problems. Number one, which relate to the state of nature, means two types of research problem. One is the related to the state of the nature, while the other is those which relate to the relationship between variables. So these are the two types of research problems which are included, and the further two steps are involved in the formulating the research problem. One is understanding thoroughly, while another thing rephrasing into meaningful way in analytical point of view. So and third is the there are the two types of literature reviews, which is the conceptual literature review and the empirical literature review. In the conceptual literature review, we understand the concepts on which topic or the theme has been selected, that are the theories, concepts, where the empirical literature includes the research, journals, and the overall empirical work. So these are the some of the briefification of the formulating the research problem. While the second step is the extensive literature survey. Okay, in the extensive literature survey, brief summary of literature, and this is also known as the synopsis. In this literature survey, we provide the summary of the literature and provide our points related to research, that is known as the synopsis. Okay, after this literature survey, we move towards the development of the working hypothesis. Okay, hypothesis is the tentative statement regarding the our studies. So the hypothesis should be very specific and the limited to the piece of relationship between in hand because it has to be tested. So, the working hypothesis should be specific and limited to the piece of the relationship, so that the if the hypothesis is the very specific and limited to the hand, so that can be tested easily. Okay, moving towards the fourth step is the preparing the research design. Okay, after the hypothesis we came to the next step of the fourth is the preparing the research design, conceptual structure within which research would be conducted. Means this is the framework within which research will be conducted. Research design is to provide for the collection of relevant evidence with minimum expenditure or of effort, time or money. So the research design is the whole and soul, the blueprint of the whole research, so that what could be conducted in the whole research, that has to be minimized, and that has to be with the efficiently or without the more expansion, or sorry, with the l- less expenditure, less time and money, that has to be understood. Okay, and the further moving, research purpose may be categorized into the four groups. First of all is the purpose of the exploration, purpose of the description, purpose of the diagnosis, purpose of the experiments. So in the research design we can categorize the research purpose into the four categories of the above. Okay, coming to the next step is the determining the sample design. Okay, sample design is the selecting the size for the experimentation or conducting the survey. So whole population survey is known as the census, in which whole population is included. While in our research we can't conduct the survey, but we have to select this size, some size, and that size is known as the sample. Either we can move towards the probability sampling and the non-probability sampling. In the in the probability sampling, it is the random, in which every unit has the same same chance of including into the sampling. In the probability sampling there are the simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, cluster sampling, area sampling, etc. While the non-probability sampling is on the basis of the convenience of the researcher. This could include be judgment, quota, etc. Deliberate sampling, also known as the purposive or the non-probability sampling based on ease of doing. So this comes under the non-probability sampling. Simple random sampling, also known as the chance or probability sampling. So in this, which simple random sampling, each and every item in the population has an equal chance of inclusion. Okay, after the determining the sample size design, we can move towards the next step is the collecting the data. Collecting the data could be process of the primary data, which is through the interviews, questionnaires, and s- sampling, and the secondary data could be institutional reports, governmental reports, etc. And next, seventh step could be execution of the project. Very important step, execution in systematic manner and in time. So execution has the very importance in the whole research. With the following the pre-steps, well the execution becomes the delayed, so the whole work could become the affected. So execution should be follow the steps which are very precise and the systematic manner. So this should be noted regarding the execution of the project. Moving to the eighth point, analyzing of the data. So data has to be analyzed with the very connectivity, closely related operations, establishment of the categories, application of the categories to raw data through coding, tabulation, and then drawing statistical interference. So the analyzing of the data is the completing the whole cycle of the collect after the collection of data, establishment of the, so that the data has to be divided based on their category, and the application of the categories on the different point, and the coding of the data. After the coding of the data, it has to be tabulated, and then at the last, the drawing the statistical inference. So this is the whole process of the analyzing of the data. Well, the next ninth step is the hypothesis testing. Do the facts support the hypothesis, or they happen to be contrary? So what the facts data has been collected that supports the what the hypothesis has been built in the third step. If the supports there is a relationship, and this there not supports that there is a no relationship between the third step and the ninth step. If the researcher had no hypothesis to start with, generalization established on the basis of the data may be stated. If the researcher has the no hypothesis, so he can do the generalization of the things. Okay, after the ninth, coming to the 10th, after the hypothesis testing, coming to the next step is the generalization and the interpretation. So if a hypothesis is tested several times, it is possible for arriving at the generalization. So testing of the hypothesis from the different point and consistently testing the hypothesis will come to a conclusion, so that possibly we can arrive to a generalization. So testing of the hypothesis by many times has the very importance. At the last, preparation of the report or the thesis. This is the last step of the whole research, in which thesis will be prepared on the whole process, from the problem identification to the generalization and the interpretation to the creation of the preparation of the report or the thesis. These are the steps which are included in the whole process of the research. In the next video, we will try to understand the or maybe in some more details. Thank you. Come again with the comments and share the videos